Hello friends, welcome again. And this is my new video regarding the AWS projects, means cloud-based AWS project topics. Actually, many of the students asked me, right, that what type of topics they can choose for developing the project on over the AWS, right? So this is AWS is one of the most famous cloud platform where you can develop a lot of projects, like you can deploy a website, you can create ETL stack, you can create code commits pipelines, CI/CD pipelines, you can develop IoT application. So AWS provides a lot of means services on which we can develop our own projects, right? And even we can deploy our own codes on the clouds, right, using the EC2 instances, right? So this video I am creating for exploring all of the project options which you can develop on AWS and which you can deploy on AWS, right? So let's start. So this is the list of projects I have mentioned here, right? This type of projects you can develop in AWS, right? And you can deploy the things on the AWS, right? So let me go through one by one. And also after this video I am going to create a video for each and every topics, right? Like how many topics I have mentioned here, right? I will create video, separate video for each and every topics, that how can you develop that application in the AWS, right? So let me go through one by one. The first option is static website hosting, right? So static website hosting means if there is a website which doesn't have the database connection, then that type of websites are called uh, static website, right? Then you can host the projects into the AWS, right? You can host the static website on the AWS, right? And you can use different types of services there, right? Like S3, CloudFront, and all things, right? So let me log in on the AWS platform, right? So this is my AWS platform, right? Here you can see S3, right? So if you are not getting S3, then you can search S3 here, right? And after that, this is the S3. S3 is the AWS storage from where you can store any type of static contents like video, audio, or even static HTML, right? So the first project which you can easily develop over the AWS is the static website hosting, right? Where you can host the HTML projects on the AWS, right? On this S3 bucket, right? And after that, you can link that. You can means link the domain through this S3 using the route 53. And after that you can use the CloudFront for the CDN, right? So if you are choosing the static website hosting project for AWS, the first services which you will use is the S3. The second services will be the route 53 for DNS management, right? And third services will be the CloudFront for the CDN, that is the content delivery network, right? So using these three services you can develop a static website hosting, right? So for that you can download any of the bootstrap free bootstrap theme from the internet, and you can modify the theme, you can add the content, you can add the images, and after that you can create the zip and you can deploy the things into the S3 bucket and use on. And on those bucket you can link the route 53 DNS and you can use your CDNs, right? So this is the first type of project, that is the static website hosting, right? The second one is so let me go through the link again. The second one is the create a PHP based application and host the project on AWS EC2 instance, right? Then what is EC2 instance, right? EC2 instance is the server, right? Is the online server where you can host any type of application. It might be the PHP application, it might be a Python, mean, any type of languages you can host on the EC2 instance, right? Is elastic compute is the full form of the EC, is the elastic compute too, right? Where you can create your own server, you can launch your own server, and after that you can host the application, the dynamic application on the EC2, right? So let me show you So for that EC2, you can just create you can create EC2 instance. And once you create the EC2 instance, it asks that what type of operating system you want to choose, right? It might be the, you can say, it might be uh, Ubuntu instance, it might be CentOS, it might be Fedora, it might be Windows, right? So on which your expertise is, you can launch a machine, a virtual machine on the AWS, and after that you can host your code on the AWS, right? For PHP application, suppose if you want, if you have a PHP project and if you want to host it online, then what you need to do, right? Then just log in on the AWS, and after that create an EC2 instance in Ubuntu or CentOS, what you need, right? And after that deploy, means install all of the softwares which is required for the PHP, right? It's a LAMP stack, Linux, Apache, PHP, and MySQL. And after that you can create your, you can just move your code onto the EC2 instance, and after that you can create database and you can run the project, right? So here you can use EC2 instance, and after that if you have the URL, then using the route 53 you can map that EC2 instance using the route 53, right? The third one, if you want to use the database, right? If your professor or if your means in your assignment, if they ask, no, you need to use EC2 instance and with RDS, right? That is the relation data services, then you can use the RDS services, right? So for EC2 instance, let me show you, right? So EC2 dashboard, and let me show you, this is the last launch instance, right? Here, from here you can launch, you can choose that what type of operating system you need. This is the Ubuntu, and this is for the free tier, right? Free tier means if you sign in on the AWS, then you will get a free tier instances also, right? And after that you can select it, and after that you will choose that what type of, you can say, the is CPU you need, what type of storage you need, and after that once you complete the process, and after that you will get a key, and using that key you can log in onto the server and you can deploy the PHP or any type of application there on the website, on the web server on the AWS, right? And for RDS, you can search the RDS here, right? RDS is the relation data services where you can host your database applications, right? It's the relational database. So if you are using the MySQL, Oracle, SQL Server, then you can host the application here, right? So this is the RDS, right? So in this project, means if you want to host the application on the EC2 instance, then here you can use the EC2 as well as security groups, and you can say VPC. These all things will be involved here. And if you want to use the RDS, then you can deploy your database on the RDS, and RDS will provide you a endpoint URL, and after that user ID and password, and you can link your server side application with the RDS, right? So this is the RDS instance, right? So this is the second type of application which you can develop over the AWS, right? Okay, so let me go to the third one. So this is the second one, is the create a PHP based application and house the project on EC2 instance. On the same way, you can deploy and develop the Python based application and the mini stack. Mini stack is Mongo, Express, Angular, and Node, right? So any any type of server side application you can host on the AWS using the EC2 instance, right? Third, the next one is the use RDS to hosting your database, right? So if you are using the server side application, then there will be a database there, right? So you can use the MySQL, or you can use Oracle, you can use SQL Server. Then for that, what the database you use on the AWS, that is the RDS, right? RDS provide a variety of database, right? From where you can launch the database, and after that you can connect the database using the server side scripting, right? Once you launch the database, then you will get means URL, user ID, and password. Then of using that user ID and password, you will be able to connect to a database using the yeah, you can using the server side application, right? The next one is a create a serverless application, right? So serverless means if you want to create a pure cloud based application, right? So AWS EC2 is not a pure cloud based application, right? It's a it's the virtual server where you are going to host your application, right? But if you want to create a pure cloud based application where Infrastructure will be managed by the AWS, and you need to worry about only for your code, right? The performance of your code, right? Not for the server, right? That is the cloud based application, that is a serverless application, right? You are not going to manage the servers, that is a serverless, right? So here you can create your own serverless application, right? So let me show you. So in this you will get a lot of you are going to use a lot of services, right? So in the serverless application, the base thing is the lambda functions, like, so you can search the lambda function here. So this is the lambda functions console. Here you can means create your lambda functions, and after that using that in lambda functions you can write your own business logics, right? Suppose if you want to perform the CRUD application, create data operations on the database, then what will you do? Where you need to write the codes? Then you can create the lambda function here, and you can choose your expertise language, right? What type of language do you want to use? You want to use Node.js, or you want to use Java? This is the runtime. You want to use .NET, you want to use Ruby or Python. Then all of the options are here, and after that you can create your own codes here, and after that you can link that code to an API or anywhere, right? So this is a function. This is a small logical entities where you will be able to write your own code on your own expertise language. Like Lambda provides a lot of runtime in which that is the .NET, Go, Java, Node.js, Python, and the .NET Core, right? Ruby. These all runtime environment. The AWS provides, right? So this is the lambda functions where you can create your lambda functions, and after that you can write your business logics here, like CRUD applications and all the things, right? All things, all the logical entities, you can write it here, and after that you can utilize that lambda function as an API or as an backend service, right? The second thing, this is the serverless application. The second thing is the DynamoDB. Dynamo database is normally a NoSQL database where you can create your own database, right? So you can create your own database, and after that you can perform the CRUD application using the Lambda functions, right? Suppose if you want to develop a project for the shopping site where you are going to create an API, right? Like getting the product, listing the product, searching the product, right? This type of API you want to create, right? Then here the product APIs will be developed, means a products business logic will be developed inside the lambda functions. The database will be stored, data will be stored in the DynamoDB, right? And the third thing, this is the NoSQL database, right? Where you can create your own database. You can create the table, and after that you can perform the CRUD application over that table, right? And the third thing is the API gateway, right? Here you can create your own API, right? On API means you can create all of that product slash get, product slash post, right? This type of things you can develop here, right? In API gateway. So API gateway, it's saying that create, maintain, and secure APIs at the and at any scale, right? So this is the API gateway. So this is the serverless application, and if you are going to develop the serverless application, then you will use the API gateway. The second is the Lambda function, and third one is the you can say DynamoDB for the database. For hosting, you can use the S3 buckets, right? So for using all this, you can develop a project also, right? So let me go through on the list, next list. Okay. Okay. So this is the serverless application. Create headless architecture, right? So this is the part of the, you can say, the serverless application. Headless means the logic will be written inside the API, and the front end will be developed using any of the JavaScript framework like Angular, React, right? So those application is called headless architecture, right? Because JavaScript will communicate with the server using the API. That is the headless architecture, right? So for deploying the serverless, means for deploying the server side applications, you will use AWS Lambda functions, DynamoDB, or you can say API gateway. And if that is not the serverless application, then you can develop the API in PHP, Python, .NET, any of the programming language, and you can deploy that application on the EC2 instance, right? And you and you can deploy the Angular part, that is the static website, right? Angular will communicate with the server and it will fetch the data, and the data will be rendered on the home page or the listing page or the order page, right? Then all the static content will be hosted inside the S3 bucket, right? So this type of project also you can develop, right? Next one is a create a content management system, right? So you can, and there are a lot of open, and there are lot of open source platform available like Drupal, like WordPress, right? You can also deploy the Drupal, WordPress, Magento, OpenCart on the AWS, right? This might be a type of project where you can use the Drupal, WordPress, and you can deploy this application on the AWS on EC2 instance, right? So for database, you can install the MySQL on the EC2 instance, or you can use the RDS also, right? So the next one is the create a e-commerce website. So for e-commerce website, you can use the Magento, right? So this will be the project topic. You will use the Magento, you will deploy the Magento on the EC2 instance, right? And after it, you will configure it, you can change the theme, and you can add the products, you can add some functionalities, and you can show it, right? So this will be the project, right? The next one is a create a CI/CD platform, right? So CI/CD means the continuous integration and continuous development, right? This is the latest topic. I don't think student will prefer to develop this type of projects, but yes. So you know about Jenkins, right? Jenkins work is the CI/CD, right? If multiple developers are working on the project, right, and multiple developers working on the project, then if you want to deploy uh, if you want to deploy all of the codes, and you can say uh, all of the functionalities on the server, then you use the CI/CD platform, right? So that is a continuous integration and continuous development, right? So AWS provides various type of services like code commit, code deploy, and many of the services AWS provides, from which you can create the CI/CD platform, right? So you can also launch a virtual machines, and after that, this deploy Angular based application on AWS S3 using Route 53 and CloudFront, right? So also the you can develop the ETL stack, right? So you can see ETL stack means extract, transform, and load, right? So AWS provides various type of means AWS services like AWS Glue, right? If you log in on the AWS, then you will get the AWS Glue there, and on that AWS, using that AWS Glue, you can create ETL stack, AWS Glue, right? So this is the services from the AWS from where you can create ETL type of applications, right? Here you can means say migrate, suppose if you have the CSV file or the Excel file or the database, right? And there are various type of data lakes. A data lake means data content, various type of data will be available there, right? There will not be a specific format, right? It might be the JSON file, it might be the CSV file, it might be RDS database, it might be NoSQL database, right? And if you want to read data from all of the sources, and you want to create a proper readable format in a single format, right? Then in that case, you can use the AWS Glue, right? Where you can read data from JSON, you can read data from you can say Excel, you can read data from NoSQL, you can read data from, you can say uh, RDS, right? And after that, you can create a new format in the readable format where all the files data will be available, right? So this type of project you can develop also using the AWS Glue, right? And the last one is the, you can say the last one is the uh, IoT stack, right? Here IoT stack is, you can say if you are developing IoT application, right? And so you will get the topics here in the AWS project topics, right? All of the topics are here, right? Even you can get this video also on this page, right? So the last topic is the uh, PubSub model based SNS model or the IoT application, right? So you can also develop the AWS IoT application using the AWS IoT core, right? So AWS provide various type of IoT means services like AWS IoT core, Kinesis, Streamings, SQS, and the MQTT, right? Devices, things. This type of services AWS provides, and you can develop IoT application on the AWS using the cloud, right? So these all types of application you can develop inside the AWS projects, right? And these are the basic common ideas for developing the AWS projects, right? So I will develop separate videos for each and every topic, like SNS and you can say how can you create S3 topics, how can you deploy the PHP application, how can you deploy the static hosting, static website. So I will develop separate videos for this all topics also, right? So till the time, if you need any clarification inside this video, just put it into the comment, and don't forget to subscribe our channel for getting the latest project videos on the latest technologies. Thanks for watching the video. Thank you very much.